Hey everybody, Tim and Chucky here for another DC animated review movie thing. So we are going to do 5 shorts this time, because who likes shorts? When the Blu-rays came out, Flying Purple People Eater. When the Blu-rays came out, these were just like little shorts that were like a special feature on the Blu-ray, is what these are. I did go a little further than I meant to, but that's fine, whatever. So they're pretty short. They're like 10 minutes, 11 minutes long. And then progressively they start getting longer. Mm-hmm. And this is when I cut it off. So I'll get to that in a minute. So the first short is The Spectre. Jim Corrigan, I think is his name. For one, before I even get into it, they always have the same intro of going through the comic book shop. Mm-hmm. The first person you see is clearly Bruce Timm, who is like the animator. He's the guy that like created Harley Quinn. Okay. Which I've met before several times. And so as soon as I always see him, I'm like, there it is. But you can tell that because the comic he's holding changes each time. So he's probably holding like a green comic because nobody else moves or changes or does anything in that little intro, except for the comic he's reading. So, are you familiar with the Spectre at all? Like, okay, so anytime somebody's like, if you could have anybody's superpowers, who would it be? And they're always expecting, like, Superman, Batman, X-Men, something like that. And I'm always like, I wouldn't mind having the Spectre's powers. And everybody's always like, who's that? Because, I mean, this motherfucker can go invisible, he can go through walls, he can warp reality. And just to like go down his lists are insane. Yeah. So the whole thing is very 70s detective feel to it. Like you got the little drum beat in the background, and everything, and then it's kind of a horror thing because you see all the props come to life, and the car crashes and then fixes itself very Christine-like. Overall, for somebody who knows nothing about the Spectre, and I don't know a lot about the Spectre myself.
It was really cool to watch. Okay. It was a good watch.
Like, I feel like it could have been a whole movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. That should have been a whole movie.
I think the most messed up part is the very end when you find out about the daughter, and then he kills her with the paper cuts.
Yeah, that was fucking crazy.
From the fresh $100 bills, and I'm just like, ooh, like, that'd be messed up.
There'd be a lot of blood on the ground.
So that's the Spectre. Overall, I really liked it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay. Jonah Hex. So this came out like the same year as the live action movie, which I never saw.
I didn't either, but
what gets me about this is there's a lot of famous people in this one.
Damn.
Like Thomas Jane is the voice of Jonah Hex, the guy that did like the Punisher in the live action movie. Okay. Linda Hamilton from Terminator is in it. Oh, cool. Michael Rooker.
Yeah, I know.
Who's he? What has he been in?
Walking Dead.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Great actor. So like they actually got a lot of voice talent for a little 10-minute episode. So I liked it. Overall, like the whole thing, it's just he's a bounty hunter. There's a lot of badass fight scenes, like where the guy melts his face.
That was pretty cool.
Like it was brutal.
I was like Jonah number 2.
Yep. No. So overall, like, do you know a lot about Jonah?
Nope.
No. I know him more from like Justice League and Batman and stuff. Because he does make appearances in those shows.
He's a fucking savage.
Yeah. So we got that. Going right into the Green Arrow. Again, a lot of kind of famous people. Neil McDonough, who has done a lot of stuff. I think of Star Trek for whatever reason, but I know he's I think Minority Report and some other stuff. Malcolm McDowell. He was the principal in Easy A. Okay.
I don't remember.
Great actor. Also in Star Trek, coincidentally. I don't know. For a Green Arrow movie, like, I liked it. I didn't mind it. Any thoughts?
It was okay.
What's that?
I'm not a big fan of Green Arrow, so.
See, I'm usually not either, but this one I feel like it did well. And maybe it's only because it's a 10-minute clip. But, see, like, The Spectre could easily be a movie. They could make a movie out of Jonah Hex, obviously, because they have. Whereas the Green Arrow, like, I don't know. Like, I don't watch the live action show because I don't find him as an interesting character. But this one I didn't mind. Like, I just like all of the him battling in the airport, basically.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
It was good. We finally get to the longer movie. This one was actually like 20 minutes. Return of the Black Adam. It's a Captain Marvel origin story, is all it is.
I did enjoy this one.
You did or did not?
I did. I liked it.
Okay, good. Okay, go on. What did you like about it?
I'm like, what? It's a fucking kid that's full on like an adult when he's got his powers. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Shazam! So over the years, So again, so this came out in like 2010, I think. But over the years, Marvel Comics and DC Comics have kind of fought over this name, because in DC, at this point in time, he was known as Captain Marvel. But Marvel also has a Captain Marvel. And so eventually, especially here recently, Captain Marvel ends up changing his name to Shazam. Like, that's what he goes by.
Yeah.
And so, like, now they have the live-action movie of Shazam and stuff. This had a pretty good cast. Zach Callison, I think is how you say his name, plays Billy Batson. It's the voice of Steven from Steven Universe. Mm-hmm. James Garner, you recognized. He was the voice of the wizard Shazam. He was also a voice in Atlantis. I mean, he's been in everything. That dude's been around since, like, the 50s. Well, he's dead now. But he'd been around since, like, the 50s, like Space Cowboys, 8 Simple Rules. He's done a lot of stuff. God, the Devil, and Bob.
Was he an Avatar?
Like the movie Avatar?
Yeah.
I don't think so. No, you're thinking of somebody else.
Yeah,
that's fine. Jerry O'Connell plays the voice of Shazam. Again, he's been in everything. Sliders. He was the fat kid in Stand By Me. And then what's kind of interesting is, so Kevin Conroy has always been the voice of Batman. Like, that, he is Batman. Superman has kind of had different people. So Superman had his own animated series, and it was Tim Daly that was the voice of Superman. And so when we watch, like, the Superman Batman movies, the Public Enemies and the Apocalypse, that's Kevin Conroy from the animated series, and that's Tim Daly, who was Superman from the animated series. Superman in this is voiced by George Newborn, who was the voice of Superman from Justice League.
Yeah.
So they kind of threw him a bone and brought him back. So I thought that was kind of cool. Probably the most messed up part, and again, like, for somebody who knows nothing about Captain Marvel, and for somebody who knows a lot about Captain Marvel, when Tawny the tiger shows up at the end,
that was like, what the fuck is happening?
It just becomes an acid trip at that point. You're like, why is this tiger like having?
Nuts.
So in the comics, he actually like stands upright and wears like a tuxedo. He's basically Alfred, but magical and a tiger. That's who his character is.
That's interesting.
And he's pretty badass. So I liked it. I thought it was great. But overall, like, for an origin story, again, this could be like a full movie. And the live action movie is actually not bad. It is enjoyable if you haven't seen it. And then finally, I did skip it. I debated on doing this one or not. So they did these 5 shorts, and then they stopped for like 8 years. So that's why we're just doing all 5 of them. So this one, the last one we're doing, Catwoman, is technically a spin-off of the movie Batman Year One, which we have not actually gotten to yet. But I don't think you need to. Like, it's literally just Catwoman in a strip club, fucking people up, and that's it. Like, it's 15 minutes of that.
Yeah.
Which, true. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an animator, but I'm curious how many strip clubs and how many hours the animators watched of women pole dancing. Because the moves are really good in this. Like, it's awkwardly well done. Anything stand out about this one? Like, dislike? To me, this felt like a short. Like, not. It's literally just Catwoman fucking
Catwoman's thing.
Yeah, it's just her fucking people up for 15 minutes just to save her best friend Holly, and that's it.
Yeah.
So this one I could do without.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. So the Spectre I liked. Jonah Hex I thought was okay. Green Arrow was meh. Black Adam I liked, and Catwoman was not that great.
I agree with this.
Okay, so we're kind of in sync, like the boy band.
Sure.
Okay.
That's where you want to go with that.
Yeah, who knows? So I don't know. I don't really have any closing thoughts for this, because this is it for the shorts for a long time. They just started doing the shorts again, like last year. Okay. And there's only like 2 of them out so far. Maybe there's 3. They just came out with the 3rd one. So I don't know. I like the shorts. I think they should have kept doing them. So is there any character in DC that you can think of that, not necessarily a whole movie, but you would have liked to see a short of? Somebody that's a little more obscure.
Alfred.
That'd be bitchin'. I'm not gonna lie. Like, just a whole, like, a little 10-minute clip of just Alfred.
I want to know what Alfred did from 18 to 75.
Okay. I think there's a TV show out right now about that. I haven't watched it at all, but I think it's about young Alfred. And Alfred's story is one that, again, like,
he's essentially a Batman.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
And that's the thing about Alfred is, like, everybody in comics, their story changes. every 5, 10 plus years. Their origin story changes, everything changes. And Alfred is one of those ones where, like, in some storylines, his whole family has been, like, the help. And he just falls in line with it. In some of the more modern stories, he's, like, retired from, like, British Secret Service. And there's comics where, like, he's fucking walking down the Batcave stairs with a shotgun. And he's like, Master Bruce won't kill you, but I sure as fuck will. Because he's a savage. Like, he's like, just because he won't do it doesn't mean I won't. Click. And so, I don't know. Like, I'd like to see more of Alfred. I agree with that. But, okay, so thank you guys for watching these shorts. If you haven't seen them, I do recommend them. I think they're worth at least a watch. After this, we will see you guys next time for our 10th DC movie, All-Star Superman.
Meow.